Golden Blue Dude here with you again, and you know, some of my video ideas come out of the blue. There's not a specific source or a specific reason every time, and what inspired this video was actually a comment in a conversation I was having on Facebook about one of my other videos. It's quite sombering too. A lot of people know this, but a lot of people might not know this. The Big 12 only exists because Oklahoma and Texas want it to exist. Okay? So, basically, if Oklahoma and Texas didn't want the Big 12 to exist, guess what? It wouldn't. So, to me, I'm curious as to when this next contract is up, what's going to happen. And if your team is not Oklahoma or Texas and is in the Big 12, you better hope that they have a landing spot whenever this contract expires, just in case. I don't see the Big 12 lasting for too much longer. I think eventually we'll have 4 major conferences. It'll be the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the SEC. Probably about 16 teams apiece. I've actually done a video about super conferences, but I'm going to do another one in the future to make it a little bit more legitimate. So for the Big 12, there's a lot of teams that could end up all over the place. That, you know, in my opinion, I think like the TCUs and Baylors, the ones that are more on the western side, they could end up in the Pac-12. And then you have, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, possibly Texas Tech going to the SEC. Personally, I'd have Texas Tech in the Pac-12. I did in my previous video. Then you have Kansas State, Iowa State, Kansas, Big Ten. You know, Oklahoma State, Big Ten. West Virginia, Big Ten or ACC. Personally, I would take the ACC because there's already a bunch of rivalries that would be reignited, and travel would be so much easier. Whenever West Virginia announced they were going to the Big 12, it was heartbreaking to me. It really was, because we were put in a place that was unfamiliar and not in control whatsoever. Because you got to realize, right before the Big East dissolved, or fell apart I should say, West Virginia was in control for a good 5 years. So once all that fell apart, West Virginia going to the Big 12, unfamiliar place, unfamiliar people, and definitely not in control. Texas and Oklahoma are in control for the Big 12. So just keep that in mind. When this new contract is up, the Big 12 could possibly get picked apart, depending on the mood of Texas or Oklahoma. So that was a sombering thought that I thought about, and I decided to do a video about it because I thought it was worth sharing. Because people know it, but you never sit down to actually think about it. How not in control your team is in the Big 12 if you're in the Big 12. So, and even if you're not in the Big 12, an outside perspective, you need to know. Oklahoma and Texas truly do control the Big 12. Okay? That's all I got for you today. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next show.